what is the reality of cynicism in Nigeria to you, personally?
Well, you started well by talking about this book, The Death of Nations, and why, the second title of the book is Why Countries Die, or Why
Countries Fail.
Why Countries Fail. Yeah, The Death of Nations, Why Countries Fail. And number one on the list, or one of the number one reasons on the list, is cynicism. When a country is permeated with cynicism, when cynicism has become a lifestyle of the people, what has happened is that people have lost faith. And when faith is gone, then what comes in the place of faith is cynicism. And cynicism will lead to apathy. And apathy would lead to complacency. And complacency will lead to disillusionment. And all these things, are what would lead to the death of nations. And these are the things that make a nation to lose, to fail. Countries fail. So countries fail, nations die because of cynicism. So it's a big problem. I've been in Nigeria, and I was born in Nigeria. I lived in Nigeria till I was 19. And I've been in touch with Nigeria for the past 30-something years since I've left the shores of Nigeria. And I don't think the level of cynicism that we ever had is as bad as it is right now. I think the level of cynicism that we're having right now is just overwhelming, and it is just alarming. So there is a big threat to the nationhood of our country if we don't deal with the issues of cynicism, apathy, and complacency right now. And I don't think, what even troubles me more than the problem of cynicism itself is the fact that the government of the day, I'm not sure if they are even aware that this is a factor in national disintegration and in the failure of nations. I don't even know if they have read my book or they have read similar books that will open their eyes to the reality that countries fail countries that fail start by first losing faith in that nation by and through cynicism. And that word cynicism, as innocently as it sounds and as powerlessly as it looks, is the force that brought down the Roman Empire. Now, the Roman Empire is the greatest empire that has ever been built by human and that has ever been seen. It was started and launched off by Alexander the Great, or Alexander of Macedonia. And the Roman Empire is famous for being the longest lasting superpower in the world. And Roman Empire survived for close to 1,000 years. There has not been a nation that has been so dominant and has been so enduring like the Roman Empire. The British Empire was able to remain a superpower for maybe 300, close to 400 years. America as a superpower is still less than 50. America really became less than 100 years a superpower. So, but for a country to last as a superpower for 1,000 years, to be so dominant, is unheard of. But even that empire, that dominant empire, like the Roman Empire, was destroyed and was brought to our knees by cynicism. And when I heard, somebody even wrote me a personal letter this week and said, because I released a video that was talking about the North is not the problem of Nigeria, and that we all have a challenge, that we need to build a common country. And this person wrote me and said, you will see, I bet you that Nigeria will disintegrate and it will fall apart, and you will see with your own eyes. So the person wrote me to bet, he's a Biafran guy. And so I just decided to neglect him, because he doesn't know that by wishing Nigeria to fall apart is at the same time wishing Biafra to fall apart. Because if Nigeria falls apart, the same people who are going to be living in Biafra are the same people who are living in Nigeria now. Only there will not be Hausas there and there will not be Yorubas there. But the people that are remaining, that they are called Biafra, they are more divided among themselves than Nigeria as a whole. It's because they are not totally homogeneous. And then everybody knows that the Igbos are the most divided tribe in Nigeria. I mean, even every town is divided. Talk less of the whole Igbo land. Every state is divided against one another. Every local government is even divided in Igbo land. So that is a problem. And that's why they can never come to a unifying political stance. And that's, a lot of problems. So he doesn't think deeper. He's just thinking of destroying what we have right now, and then we are going to be good. You cannot build your whole nation. You cannot build a future by destroying something else. It's not by destruction you build a nation. You build nations by building, by construction. So for you to be able to talk about building your own nation, you must first of all be united. And if you are not united and you are saying that the house it's just like saying, I'm living in a house right now and I'm saying that this house should collapse. This house, let it just collapse. Then you become homeless. So before I could say this house should collapse, I should go ahead, I should have first of all built a house that is better and is stable and is strong in its foundation, better than this one. But I've not built any house. And the place where I want to build the house, the land is not even cleared. Everything is still in chaos and shambles, and I'm saying this one should collapse.
You're wishing yourself evil.
You are wishing yourself evil. So I just know that person, I will not, enter into conversation with somebody like that, because you don't argue with a fool. They will think that you are the same, that you are not different from him. So I will not bring myself as low as to have a debate with somebody who is less informed. And you cannot blame someone like that, because that is his own level of development. That's his own level of enlightenment. He's just less informed. And now that I am privileged to know better, I will not go as low as thinking that breaking down Nigeria, breaking up Nigeria is what will bring about the well-being of Yoruba people or Hausa people or Igbo people. Now let's even think that Hausas and Igbos and Yorubas go their own way. Okay, let's take the Yorubas that they want to go their own way, or Igbos that want to go their own way. But if they go their own way, the same Igbo people, they are very cynical. And the same Yoruba people, they are very cynical. Apart from division, apart from lack of unity, cynicism is when people are always negative, doubtful, talking, criticizing, and that is who we are. So even if we break up as an entity of Nigeria, but you now come from Oduduwa Republic, and you are still having the inner content that you have today, blaming, complaining, and doubting, and criticizing. You see, a breakup of Nigeria will not lead to inner transformation. It will only give you geographical definition. It will only give you a division of your own geography, boundaries. But it doesn't change the inner content of a people. So without changing the inner content of Biafra people, without changing the inner content of Oduduwa people, and they just go and get their own division also, the same thing will happen. That is the mistake our own forefathers have already made. Our own forefathers, the nationalists, the people who fought for the independence of Nigeria from Britain, they were saying, no, we are ready. We want our own independence. We want to be on our own. You see, people just have this crooked mindset that if we have our own independence and determine our own affairs, everything will just be good automatically. All our problems will vanish and everything will be resolved. But we got independence from the British. We think we are going to do better because we think that it is the independence itself, by definition, that leads to well-being and that leads to prosperity. But we don't know. No. It is the inner content of the people who are asking for the independence that will determine their well-being.
That's right.
But when you don't change that inner content, and that inner content has not been changed to inculcate the values of people and the values that lead to greatness, values that lead to civilization. If that nation have not been imbibed in values of greatness and in values of civilization, if the nation and the people have not been exposed to these values and they have not embraced these values, and those values have not become part and parcel of them, even if you bring them to their own family household, they will still not experience development and growth. So if the content of their heart and of their individuality and their character is the content that and the values and the vices that don't lead to development, but their content of character that lead to disintegration, that lead to backwardness, that lead to strife and cynicism, apathy, and complacency. When those things are the things that remain in the character, in the body of the people, of the heart of the people, by the time you take them there again, that is exactly what they will keep on experiencing. It doesn't matter how many times you divide them. Divide them into any little pieces you want, they will still go to their piece and still be exhibiting the same content of character that leads to backwardness and lack of civilization. So it doesn't lead to change and development or growth. That's why all of Africa is backward, because we are focusing on the wrong thing. We all got independence, but what did that give to us? It didn't give us anything. But the people we chased away, the English people, they have the content of character, they have the values that are needed for development. They keep on living well. But we that say we are going to live better, we are living worse. They say the French people we chased away, they keep on living better because of they have the thing it takes. So when we don't first of all pay attention to the qualities that it takes to experience growth and development, but we are just clamoring for outward change like restructuring instead of reconstructing. When we are not demanding, we are not laying demands on ourselves, on our change in character, change of values, but we are rather just thinking and talking about external things, then we're just deceiving ourselves. And when we get what we thought we needed, that is when we discover that what we got is not actually what we needed, and that what we have gotten now will even lead to a quicker destruction of ourselves than where we were before. So the problem of Nigeria is in these things. These are the things to change. So even if you want to get your own nation, or Odua or Biafra, make sure that before you get that Odua, you have dealt with issues like apathy. You have dealt with issues like cynicism. You have dealt with the issues like complacency. You have dealt with the issues of disillusionment. You have dealt with the issues of, that lead nations to bankruptcy. If you don't deal with those issues first before going, you are going with the wrong foundation. You are going on the wrong foundation. And you are going to build that country on the foundation of destruction already, before you even start building it. So that is already what we have. The nation is dead on arrival, just like we had with the independence of Nigeria, because our forefathers that got us the independence, they wanted just to give us independence. They think when we manage our own affairs, everything will be fine. But they don't know, and they didn't start by laying another foundation for our people. They only mobilize our people to fight for freedom, to fight for independence, but they didn't mobilize them to work on the content of their character. They didn't mobilize them to embrace the values and the qualities that will make them to be able to be capable of building great nations. Only great virtues lead to great nations. Only people of great values and virtues are capable of building great nations. But when the people are having weak values, when they are having values that are opposite of development and greatness, they will never be able to build it unless you have dealt with those content that they have inside. It's just like saying, for example, I am not a laborer. I'm not a builder. I've never built a house before. And now I was thrown into a place and I was being commanded to build a house, to build 10 stories building. 10-story building, I cannot build it because I don't have the skills. It's because I don't have it inside me. I don't have that skill inside me. I don't have the knowledge inside me. I don't have the content inside me. But if I am a carpenter, for example, and they told me and they said, okay, you are a carpenter, go and fix that furniture. That is because I have it in me. I'll be able to fix the furniture because I have it in me. If I'm a carpenter, on the other hand, and I was given a computer, and they said, fix that computer. And why should you be afraid? I mean, why should you be amazed or surprised when I come back to you 2 days later and say, I couldn't fix it? There's no surprise. Why are you surprised? Because you don't have it in you. You don't have what it takes in you to understand IT technology. And you don't know the mechanism of how those things work. You don't have the content of what it takes to be able to fix that computer. So that is what we're talking about when we're talking about nation building principle. It is not just by saying, okay, give me the responsibility, that would define my success. No, the responsibility, the outward allocation of the responsibility, it doesn't give you, assurance that you are going to be able to do it. You must have something greater than that inside of you before we'll be able to say that, yes, you deserve to have that responsibility.
Wow.
Sunday Adelaja here. If you believe in nation building principles, please like this video, share it with your friends, and let's change our nations together.